Alright nerds, what's going on? This is HD and I'm coming at you guys with another commentary, of course. And today we're going to be looking at a game with WhiteRa and Evil Genius's Idra. WhiteRa actually now on the team known as tt.WhiteRa, or TT Esports. But that's not reflected in his name for whatever reason. So it is going to be WhiteRa versus Idra. Very excited about this series. As you guys all know, WhiteRa, Grandpa, Granddaddy Protoss, whatever you want to call him, the ancient, father of them all. He's the guy who's been around Protoss play for ages, and he's really been playing Protoss to a very, very high level, which is really surprising. He's probably the oldest pro gamer that is still very, very successful at the game. I mean, how many players you run into who are 30 years old plus that are still very, very talented at Starcraft 2, and not only very talented, but at the top. They're basically elite, and that's what WhiteRa is. So, he's a very, very good Protoss player. He's going to be playing against Idra, who you guys all know, known for his BM, I guess you could say, but more than that, known just to be one of the most solid foreign Zerg players in the world. And WhiteRa and Idra have a lot of history together, and it dates all the way back to the days of Brood War, and then ongoing through Starcraft 2. So I already have a Mortal Kombat fight here between the drone and the probe, a fight to the death, first blood being spilled. And whoever gets the first blood, of course, going to get that little moral victory. But yeah, these two players have been locked in combat for ages, and I'm very excited about this game. It could really go either way, and we'll just have to see. The map is going to be Antigua Shipyard, which is cool. We just casted a game, or I just casted a game to you guys who just viewed it with, I forget the player's name, but it was on GameCom. It was for the GameCom Plantronics tournament, and both the guys played very, very well. It was an awesome Zerg versus Protoss series. So we have another Zerg versus Protoss here, and it is going to be cross-spawn with WhiteRa going for a Nexus first. That's pretty bold. Alright, WhiteRa, so Granddaddy Protoss busting out some Granddaddy moves here. The 14 Nexus, which is something that Protoss players kind of did in Brood War, and you can still do it in StarCraft 2, obviously, but it's pretty risky. However, given that they are cross-spawn, I like WhiteRa's chances here, especially considering that he's scouted into Idra and he saw the cross-spawn. So he should be okay against Zergling aggression, which right now Idra is moving out with 8 Zerglings total? Wow, no, 6 Zerglings. Okay, so Idra made an extra pair here, or a couple extra pairs depending on what he usually does, which I think he makes 4. So he added on 2 more. And we'll see if he can punch through this front door. The cannon may not be up in time. And actually, Idra, I don't know if he scouted with his overlords at the right time, saw that the Protoss didn't spawn there or there, but he is unable to get through the wall as WhiteRa erects an emergency pylon at the very last second. That was clutch. We'll nickname that pylon clutch, and now he cancels it because he really doesn't need that extra supply right now. But great on the pylon. The cannon is now up, so he doesn't really worry too much now about the Zerglings running in. And now it looks like Idra going to be content to go ahead and send his Zerglings up north, where he can maybe pick off that probe. And wow, this is a little interesting. Is WhiteRa, why is WhiteRa the red Protoss? That is so confusing. Let me bring that up again. I think I fixed it. No, I didn't. So I don't know what's going on right now. Sorry guys, I accidentally pressed the wrong button and it rewound the replay. I didn't want to chrono boost my replay backwards in time. But for whatever reason, the thing here is confusing the crap out of me because WhiteRa is not supposed to be red, he's supposed to be blue. So I'm just going to bring that down, and it'll make my cast much easier, and hopefully it'll make the viewing experience easier for you guys, which, I'm all about that. So, StarCraft 2 apparently still has some bugs to be worked out. Note to Blizzard. But WhiteRa is moving out across the field right now with that probe. That will be picked off. It did some good scouting work, though. It actually grabbed 5 minerals before it died. Never able to return it, but it did some good scouting work. WhiteRa kept it alive for a very long time. Idra here is going to go ahead and go right away into a 3rd hatchery, which it doesn't surprise me. Zerg players that go ahead and go for that 3rd hatch, especially on this map, especially with the cross spawn, it makes a lot of sense. And of course, Idra's the kind of guy who is the flagship Zerg player when it comes to playing macro. Everyone, reads into how Idra does it, and they kind of follow Idra's recipe to success, and they really follow Idra's game plan in terms of macro. So Idra just gonna stick with his gut here, gonna go ahead and go right for the 3rd hatch. But the problem here is WhiteRa is a very unpredictable player. You guys who've seen WhiteRa before, you know about this. WhiteRa can definitely come at you with a lot of interesting strategies. He can come at you with the 6 gate, he can come at you with Stargate, with Void Rays, he can come at you with Dark Templar, he can do Blink Stalkers, he can do a 1-base Colossus Rush. I guess that's going to be not possible this game since he already expanded, but there's a lot of things WhiteRa can do, and Idra's aware of that, so hopefully Idra keeps his cheese dar on. Get it? Cheese dar. So he's going to go ahead and hopefully keep that cheese dar on. And the key to keeping that cheese radar on is always sending in these overlords. Very intelligent of him to do, because if you don't do this, you never really know what the Protoss player is doing. And so he sends it in. He sees 3 warp gates, and that is going to confirm a little bit. Although he may actually see the 4th warp gate coming up here. Yes, he will if he clicks it. I don't know if he's going to click it or not. But he does see at the very least 3 warp gates, with the 4th one coming up right here. That at the least tells him that, you know, WhiteRa isn't going to go for Stargate or anything like that. At the very least, it's 5-gate Robo or 6-gate plus. Now, if you can see this Nexus as well, which I would expect at any moment now, he's going to send that Overlord, and he's going to know exactly what WhiteRa's doing, which is really just a macro game, and Idra should be pretty comfortable with that knowledge. Does he see it yet? Not quite. That Overlord just needs to get a little bit more sight on his eyes. You'd think Overlords could see more. I mean, they have 8 eyes on their head. They're like an arachnid or something, a flying arachnid, and yet they can't see that far. But Idra really needs to move that Overlord in. He's actually now working the rocks here, leading to that 3rd Nexus. He will not be able to break through, as the Protoss forces are there, along with the very intelligent cannon. Love the cannon here from WhiteRa. Not only does it protect the right of the rocks, but it also protects this left lane as well. And you know what, guys? We have a full-on macro game on our hands. It's just Idra doesn't know that yet. But I think he can safely assume, judging on the gateway count here, that it's not. I guess he can assume it's not really an all-in at this point. And it looks like he's just going to stick with Lair, Roach. Probably just going to go straight up with Roaches, if you ask me. Maybe Roachling into eventually Roach Hydra into hopefully eventually Roach Corruptor. But here it is, Protoss Special Tactics 101 from WhiteRa, and he's coming in with the Warp Prism. But there is a Spore Crawler here. Idra prepared for the Dark Templar / Warp Prism Harass, and looks like he has a Spore Crawler there, but the 4 Zealots are dropped off inside the mineral line. They're doing some pretty decent damage here. They've killed off all the Zerglings that were sent to deal with them, but now there are Roaches there. But more Zealots being brought in. WhiteRa, just known for his Warp Prism play, he's one of the best at this. And this is what makes WhiteRa such a good player. Not only is he good at being, you know, all-in cheesy, but he's also very good at playing macro and at the same time being, you know, very effective at his harass. And look at that, he's killed off 8 workers. No, just 1 worker. So not really killing off that many workers, actually. Although the colors are messed up. Remember, guys, the colors are all jacked up. So I think he did kill off 8 workers. We're just going to have to remember that that's switched around for the rest of the game. Even these colors are jacked up. That's so weird. I don't understand what's going on. But WhiteRa killed off significant workers here, and it looks like he's going to continue to harass. Is he going to bring anything in? This is in plain view of Idra, and Idra's already prepared for his Roaches with them waiting at bay. But no, WhiteRa will not warp anything in. He's going to go ahead and back out of there, just feigning a little bit of aggression and harass. And, you know, all in all, good damage done by WhiteRa. He lost 8 Zealots, but in turn he did kill 8 drones. And quite a few Zerglings as well, and of course forcing Idra to halt his drone production, which is probably the most devastating thing of all, because if you guys look right now, Idra only has, what does he have? He has 74 workers, which is, for Idra, that's not a lot at this point in the game. Usually at this point, Idra's going to have like 80 plus already, so I think that Idra certainly took some damage there, but you know, he's still in full-on macro gear, and now he's pushing in with a lot of Roaches on the ground. He's looking to bust down these rocks leading to the 3rd, and this is something that Protoss doesn't really want to allow. I'm surprised WhiteRa is not attacking, or at least not holding this position right here. Those Roaches will break through the rocks, and Idra now has an opening for, at the very least, Speedlings to run in and harass his 3rd base from now until the end of the game. And that's one small victory for Idra as he deforms the terrain towards his advantage. And he's also going to ninja a hatchery down in the bottom right-hand corner, right next to the Protoss player's 3rd. And WhiteRa now going in with another Zealot harass. he actually harassed the third here for a pretty good amount of time. In fact, the drone's now just returning from mining, and there's still zealots attacking there. This zealot over here is attacking a queen, and I don't know what Idra's doing. Idra's not paying attention. He's too focused on microing over here on the left, and this is uncharacteristic of Idra. Finally, those roaches dispatch of that zealot, and these mutalisks now coming into play. They will deal with the zealot harass, and they kill off the warp prism as well. So WhiteRa killing off a total of 10 workers there. That last round of harass, I guess, not doing as much damage as the first 2 rounds. And now Idra has the mutalisks out, which nowadays is very, very key to dealing with Protoss. Mutalisks are so essential now because you have to harass the Protoss player. You can't let them macro on 3 braces, and that's exactly what Idra is doing. He's running in here with the mutas. He's doing some good damage. He's killed off 9 workers now. He's tied it up. Almost tied it up. He's going to go for his 10th kill now, and maybe then some. Yeah, he is. And he's doing some really good damage. Now, the sentries are coming in with Guardian Shield, and that will protect them from the mutas very well. I don't think Idra wants to attack there as a Guardian Shield reducing damage by 2. Oh, great positioning by WhiteRa, anticipating the retreat of the mutas and picking off several mutas in retreat, even though the Stalkers did not have Blink. WhiteRa doing some really good damage there. I love the moves from him. And you know, both players just kind of taking blows back and forth, back and back. And really, at this point, I don't really see a clear advantage to either side. Maybe WhiteRa because he is pretty much tied up on supply, but the changing factor here is Idra's got a lot of mutas out, and WhiteRa needs to get, I don't know, more Archons. Well, he does have Blink Stalkers right now, so maybe he's pretty well defended against any muta harass, but, you know, I'd love to see some Storms mixed into his army as well. We saw that in the last game I casted for Gamecom Plantronic. Storms were just so good at dealing with mutas and lings, and let's hope that WhiteRa gets them eventually. Idra here running in, picks off a pylon. Or was that a cannon? I can't tell. I think that's a cannon because of that little ball right there. He picks off a cannon, opening up more avenues to attacking that probe line. But right now it looks like WhiteRa are going to go ahead and push into the middle of the field. Although Idra is prepared. He's got a wall of crawl at the front. It's going to be tough for WhiteRa to break this once those meters arrive. But look at how many Immortals he's got. And the Stalkers as well. WhiteRa's got so much anti-armor weapons here on the field. And he's going to blow right through these Spine Crawlers. They don't even stand a chance. Look at the Crawlers just going down almost instantly. Now Idra's got a massive flock of mutas. He's got to get a really good engage. Pick off the sentry that's using the Guardian Shield. He does just that. There is no Guardian Shield to protect them from the mutalisks, but Idra, I don't know if he's got enough mutas to do this, man. He did pick off all the Archons, so now there's not that much splash damage available, and Idra maybe is going to be able to clean this up. It's going to be tough. No, he will not. WhiteRa with 1 armor, 2 weapons, holds it off, and Idra unable to defend here, and it looks like the Immortals just getting a little bit ahead of themselves, but really WhiteRa's got to go ahead, push here for the natural. He could actually take that out very easily. I don't see Idra holding this off. He's making 6 mutas right now in desperation. He's got to make more Zerglings as well. He's got to get a Keys around here. He's bringing drones off the line from not only the natural, but also the third. He's trying to get around the Stalkers and the Immortals. Is it going to be enough? I don't think so. WhiteRa's just got too many forces here, although there's a lot of mutas. That's not going to be enough, and the hatchery exploding in a massive spurt of blood is enough for Idra to call out the GG, and there it is. So that was a great game. We actually saw a lot of back and forth action right there from not only, you know, Idra but also WhiteRa. Just the mutas coming in here, finding an opening to attack the main, and WhiteRa kind of going for a very interesting push. That was a very cool timing on his part. Didn't expect it coming out of him, but he made it happen, and he totally ran over the Zerg forces. I mean, consider there was a huge wall. It was a grid of crawlers here. That was enough, you know, security to protect Bank of America from a robbery. And WhiteRa just kind of went in there and pulled off the Rio heist. He killed everything, and he took everything from Idra, left him nothing at the end of the day. And so that's that. That's game number 1, I believe, and I do have a couple more games in this series. So with that, I'm just going to go ahead and call this game here and go ahead and go into game number 2. Hopefully you guys stay tuned. WhiteRa and Idra, round 2 begins next.